Hey everyone, it's Schmuckles. Today we're going to talk about an update that the Art the Clown license holders pretty much straight up said in regards to Terrifier and Dead by Daylight. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want licensing news like this recommended to you by YouTube. So here's the Twitter interaction that I'm talking about. Recall that Steve Barton is one of the producers of the Terrifier franchise. Right after Terrifier 2 came out, Steve Barton tweeted on November 3rd, 2022. So Matthew Cote and Dead by Daylight. Have the fans been loud enough yet? And he's referring to wanting Art the Clown in Dead by Daylight as a standalone killer. Well, yesterday at 7:49 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, October 27th, Energy Drinking said, "Behavior ignoring his calls for the last 2 years, thank you God." And Steve Barton responded to this and straight up said, "This is not on Matthew Cote. They did their best and honestly want this as much as the fans. We tried, hopefully it will come together sooner rather than later, keep the faith." Steve Barton saying they did their best tells me that maybe Matthew Cote actually wanted to try to get Art the Clown into Dead by Daylight in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure how this legal deal would have actually fell through behind the scenes. Licensing can be pretty complicated. When Steve Barton says and honestly want this as much as the fans, I don't know if Steve is actually talking about himself or Matthew Cote wanting this as much as the fans, but Steve Barton saying this is not a Matthew Cote and then they did their best kind of makes me feel like Matthew Cote was on board with bringing Art the Clown into Dead by Daylight. And something that I wanted to add to this is it seems like maybe if Matthew Cote and Behavior and Steve Barton and the Art the Clown license holders are both down to add Art the Clown to Dead by Daylight, that would sort of point to the reason for it kind of falling through is there's not space on the current roadmap to actually add this IP into the game right now. We could have a whole bunch of licensed and original chapters already lined up, filling up Behavior's roadmap for a very long time. Hopefully it'll come together sooner rather than later could potentially mean that they gave the same response to the Art the Clown license holders that we think that they gave to the AMC license holders, where they're pretty much saying, hey, we would like to add your property into the game, but our roadmap is full and we're gonna have to fit it in whenever we can. That tells us Matthew Cote works very far in the future and maybe has a bunch of license deals already in the works, so the license roadmap could be full for the time being. Another thing is Steve Barton saying this is not Matthew Cote means that there actually was contact between Matthew Cote and Steve Barton or the Terrifier franchise. It kind of confirms this fact, and this is something that we actually did not know for sure. It seemed like the Terrifier franchise was sort of being ignored, but now we know pretty much for certain that they have actually had talks with Behavior Interactive. So that kind of confirms to us that Behavior did respond privately. So do you want to see Art the Clown in Dead by Daylight? Let me know in the comment section below. The more traction a video like this actually gets, the more likely it is Behavior actually sees this and becomes aware, hey, this is a really hyped IP that we should probably prioritize. I think it's great timing with Terrifier 3. We tried, hopefully it'll come together sooner rather than later, keep the faith. That tells us that within the next year, Art the Clown will not be joining Dead by Daylight, so the March license paragraph is pretty much confirmed, not Art the Clown now, but it does seem like something that could be possible in the future, especially with the reception of the Terrifier franchise. The reception of Terrifier 3 has been crazy. Terrifier 3 has passed $50 million worldwide. It is now the highest grossing unrated movie of all time. So we've actually seen a transition within the past couple of years of the Terrifier franchise sort of transitioning from a cult classic with a pretty small following to pretty much mainstream culture. Do we think that this makes Art the Clown big enough to actually add as a standalone killer in Dead by Daylight? Honestly, right now it seems like Art the Clown is the new hot property, and the most hyped licenses turning that we're doing right now sort of showcases that. Interestingly, I actually never shared this. On November 3rd, 2022, so right after the Terrifier 2 film, the official Terrifier film Twitter, which is now labeled Terrifier 3, did a poll and asked which video game would you most like to see Art the Clown appear in, and Dead by Daylight pretty much won by a landslide. So the license holders have kind of known this is the biggest possible collaboration for the IP since that time. Dweed actually tweeted about this and said Steve Barton, the producer of Art the Clown, said this about the status of Art in Dead by Daylight, and Dweed's wondering, could this be the unknown license that both parties wanted but couldn't find common ground? I'm not quite sure if the timing of that makes sense, but it does seem possible that this could have potentially been the lost license behind the scenes at Behavior. It does seem like Art the Clown could possibly be added into Dead by Daylight, but not within the next year. We'll follow the situation closely. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. That does it for this video. Goodbye.